Hi, my name's Howard Woodcock and I am the Chief Executive of Bibby Offshore in Aberdeen. My career started as a 16-year-old. I left school and joined the Merchant Navy. So after a few years deep sea in the Merchant Navy, I came to work out of Aberdeen, working on offshore support vessels, anchor handlers, supply vessels and eventually a diving support vessel in and out of Aberdeen and Peterhead and Montrose and up and down the northeast coast of Scotland. And I worked offshore in the North Sea for about 5 years. At the time I had a young family, so I moved ashore into a shipbroking role in 1990, and then a couple of years later bumped into an old pal and rejoined a company called Bibby. And that was over 20 years ago now. And over those 20 years I've moved from an assistant ship manager, a junior technical superintendent looking after the nuts and bolts of ships, to a place now where I run this company in Aberdeen. So it's been quite a journey over the last 20 years. We at Bibby Offshore work in an area of business called the Subsea sector. So it's part of the offshore oil and gas industry, and we do construction, inspection, repair and maintenance underneath the water. So it's like building things and mending things, but instead of doing it onshore, we do it underneath the waters of the North Sea primarily. We use ships that deploy divers to the seabed, and because of that, because we're actually putting human life onto the seabed, we've got to be very, very careful about what we do and how we do that. Our job is all about managing risks and making sure that the people who are working offshore are safe, and that has got to be and always will be our #1 priority. The divers themselves are incredible people who work in very tough and sometimes quite unpleasant circumstances to get the job done. But the two pairs of hands, the two divers working on the seabed, are supported by over 100 guys and girls on board the vessel back up at the surface. Three of the major roles that we have in the subsea industry are engineering, commercial and finance. In engineering you'll probably need a good background in science, but also understand mathematics as well. The commercial guys are always very good at detail, so if you can't concentrate for more than 10 minutes like me, don't go into a commercial role, because those guys are always reading contracts and legal documents and things like that. So they're really into English and reading detail. And of course we rely on the finance people to keep us on task and make sure that all our projects come in on time and on budget. I was asked what type of people are we looking for in Bibby Offshore. I think the most important thing to me is people who have the right attitude, the right outlook on life, people who are keen, who want to get on, who want to progress themselves and want to achieve something. Hard work is always going to be really important in life. In business it's even more important. And to get into this industry it's tough because it is competitive. There's lots of people want to get into it, but it's very rewarding and very satisfying for the right people. So at Bibby Offshore we like people who are excited about working for us, who want to get on, who are good at working in teams but are pleased to take responsibility themselves and to work themselves. But most of all, the right attitude, keen and enthusiastic people who really do want to learn. So the main route into this industry, into the subsea industry, is through university placement and then joining a graduate scheme. Most people tend to come in that way. But that isn't the only way. We do take school leavers, but with school leavers the important thing is that they are the best of the school leavers. So you really do have to set yourself apart from everybody else. You will need a good secondary school education to get onto an apprentice scheme or into a junior technician's role, for example. A lot of people join our company in junior roles and work their way up, but obviously we can't cope with 6, 7, 8, 10,000 of those people. So we're looking for the very, very best. We're looking for the guys and the girls who've really applied themselves, who really have the right attitude and have tried really hard at school. If you don't know what to do at this stage in your life, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would have the right attitude, keep an open mind and look to where the opportunities are. Look to what's happening in the world around you. Look at the industries that are thriving and succeeding, like the subsea and the offshore oil and gas industry, and see if there's anything that interests you there. One small thing I found was that if you find something that's enjoyable as well as something that's rewarding, then it's all good.